don't participate in your own oppression. I was down getting interviewed as to some of the other acts of civil disobedience that I was engaging with the other day. Getting good coverage actually recently in the media as to those actions of civil disobedience. And in fairness to the reporters who are covering them, they're giving very good coverage as to the reasoning behind the actions, in that they're highlighting the case of Vera Toomey and Alicia Maher as well. Legend Mustawiz, nice one for that. He says, hit the like button there, everybody. And do guys, hit that like button and hit the share button as well. Spread the word. But as I say, the journalists are doing a very good job in delivering the message of the action. So if you don't know what I'm on about, guys, I'll pop it up on screen here for you. Cannabis plants replanted in Cork days after Gardaí have removed the plants. Yes. So as I said, the media are giving this good coverage. I'll pop it up here on screen so you can see my beautiful face. But it reads, cannabis has been replanted in Cork City Centre just days after Gardaí uprooted the plants which have been left there in protest at the continued ban on the substance in Ireland. Cannabis rights campaigner Martin Condon replanted 9 cannabis plants by the Shannon Bridge on Saturday, just days after Gardaí uprooted the 6 plants he previously put there. Mr. Condon told the Irish Examiner, I'd like to highlight the waste of time by the Gardaí on these issues, and I'd like them to refocus their efforts on the real criminals out there. Some people nearby got out their phones and started recording me on Saturday. They agreed with my actions and they thought it was a good way to highlight this absurd policy we have around cannabis. And Mr. Condon said he will be attending a protest in Dublin at 2 p.m. on Saturday and is calling for the legalisation of cannabis for medicinal and recreational purposes. It's the second time they're running this protest. Last year, over 1,000 people attended throughout the day, so hopefully that'll double to over 2,000 this year. The protest, the Major Smoke Up 2021, will involve a march from the Wellington Monument in Phoenix Park, past the Criminal Courts of Justice, past the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions, and past the Garda headquarters also, before returning to the Wellington Monument. A protest ends with a picnic. A picnic in the park is then planned where people get to gather openly and consume cannabis. The continued ban on cannabis is having a detrimental impact on people who benefit from its medicinal use, while it's failing to prevent young people from using it recreationally. Here in Ireland, there's still a lot of suffering caused by the prohibition of cannabis. Patients here in Ireland are still at the mercy of drug dealers who are not required to maintain a minimum standard of quality. The growing of the cannabis plant should not be a criminal matter, and patients should have fair and effective access to the cannabis as a medicine. And then it says Gardaí removed the suspected cannabis plants on Shannon Footbridge shortly before 6:30 last Wednesday. No arrests have been made, but investigations are ongoing. In fairness, like I should give him a ring and ask him what the crack is. Because they're taking their sweet time. Like, in fairness, all of the journalists were able to catch up with me and carry out some of the interviews. I was even down there a while ago at the scene of the crime, and 2 guards walked past me. I thought I was being set up at the interview or something by a man from RTE, getting me down there and catch me getting arrested by the cops or something. But I just said, no, I keep my head up, kept walking down with the 2 dogs, and the cops just walked straight past me. In fairness, like, you know, I'm not really on the radar in that regard. But it finishes off here anyway that Mr. Condon labelled the plants at the Shannon Bridge near the Bridewell Garda station with the hashtags Bring Alicia Home and Call Vera, which is incorrect. It's actually Talk to Vera, after the 2 of the Cork most prominent medical cannabis rights campaigners, Alicia Maher and Vera Toomey. Alicia Maher moved to Spain to access affordable medical cannabis, which she found was the only medication that helped her following multiple surgeries. Once bedbound and in severe pain, she is now writing a PhD in law. Vera Toomey has been campaigning for access to medical cannabis for her daughter Ava, who suffers with severe form of epilepsy. Cannabis saved her daughter's life, Miss Toomey said, and it is the only substance she has found which can control her daughter's seizures. Despite the introduction of the government's medical cannabis access program, Bedrocan, the medication Ava and other epileptic children have been getting from the Netherlands for many years, is not included on the list of sanctioned medications. So again, you know, just highlighting a very worthwhile campaign around those 2 patients. Alicia deserves to come home. She should not be forced to live any longer outside of Ireland. It's only right that we afford the patients an effective means of access, and that includes Vera and Ava too. All of these patients, they're being hard done by because of this prohibition, and that's exactly why I went out there and was planting those plants. It's the prohibition that's preventing the research that needs to be done. It's preventing the access the patients needs. But what it's not preventing is the sole purposes of its existence, which is to deter drug use in our society, to deter people from using cannabis. Has it achieved that? No, it's failed, and it's failed miserably. It's put it into the hands of organised crime gangs who make hundreds of millions, if not billions of euro across Ireland every year. And in doing so, then they corrupt a lot of young people, recruit them into their ranks of the drug dealing trade, where they graduate from dealing cannabis to be dealing cocaine and dealing crack cocaine and heroin and God only knows what else. This shouldn't be the case. End this prohibition once and for all. Regulate this substance. Put it behind a closed door where there's a reputable retailer in control of it. It's sold to people at an appropriate age. And again, patients are provided with an effective means of access and a lot less stigma as well in relation to their medicine. So a lot is to be achieved by ending this prohibition. It's not just going to allow me or you to be able to pack up our bong and have a few hits. Do you know what I mean? This is a bigger issue. We need to take it out of the control of the criminals. We need to put it into the hands of the professionals, into the hands of the researchers, and into the hands of the patients. So I'll blaze one to that anyway, guys. A little civil disobedience here again on 420 News. They're showing what silliness exists around our laws. And yeah, Grief Havoc saying run for local office again. 100%. If there's an election call in the morning, I certainly will be putting my name on the candidacy, because these issues need to be aired, and running in an election is certainly a great way in doing that. I encourage more people to get up and do that too. But it needs to be said, guys, is I do not want the attention I'm going to get as a result of this. I do not want to go to prison. But the thing is, I'm prepared to go to prison. I've got beliefs and I'm willing to stand up for them. I was wronged many years ago, and I've been standing up for myself since then. And before I knew it, I was kind of standing up for more than myself. My argument started with legalized cannabis, but it's since graduated on to things like, decriminalize the drug use, or actually, introduce drug testing. We need just regulation of the entire drug market, because this prohibition is absolutely nuts. So I'm willing to go to prison for my beliefs. I'm willing to stand up for the many patients who are out there suffering now as a result of this stupid prohibition. I'm standing up for the mothers who are being threatened at the moment by organised crime gangs out there because their young teenage sons are unable to pay the drug debts they've incurred because of prohibition. Yes, I'm willing to go to prison for all of that, because I do not want to see this to continue any longer in our society. And I believe the only way in which we're going to see change now is by as many people as possible following in my footsteps and the footsteps of many campaigners before me. Again, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, these people engaged in civil disobedience. They didn't agree with a law. They didn't want to be a part of their own oppression. And if we want to see change in our society, and when the government is ignoring us, and they have been ignoring us, you can't say that they haven't. Gino Kenny put his bill before them in 2016. Where is medical cannabis? It's still not available in Ireland properly. Luke Ming Flanagan's bill back in 2013. Again, another opportunity for them to do something right. They've had their opportunity, so now it's down to us, the citizens, the people, to get up and tell the government, that they need to act on this issue now, that they can no longer sit in their hands and allow the organised crime gangs have complete reign of this bloody market. So yeah, that's my action anyway in Cork City, being covered again by the media. I expect some coverage there on RT Radio 1 as well, and possibly maybe a bit of an interview on News Talk in the morning as well. If I do happen to be going on News Talk in the morning, I'll make it my best effort to be able to kind of stream it here live as well at the time.